In the previous session, you learned when and how to use partner responses. Consider using partner responses when answers are long or different, as in foundational and higher order questions. Session 4 also explained key elements that you need to implement partner responses effectively. Some of these elements include assigning partners, pairing lower performing students with middle performing students, and using triads in specific circumstances. It may be useful to review the summary content from Session 4 before you proceed with this video. This session, Partner Responses Part 2, will cover the following partner response strategies: teaching information to a partner, studying with a partner, and other uses of partners such as assisting each other with common tasks like collecting and sharing materials, or monitoring to see if directions are followed.
Another way that we can use partners is to have them teach something to their partner. And one of the easiest things is to have them teach using some stimulus that they have. Maybe you have taught a lesson and they've filled in a graphic organizer. And then you have them teach the graphic organizer to their partner by touching it and explaining it. Is it possible that they might remember more by teaching it? Yes or no, everyone? Yes, okay? And it could be a graphic or it could be a map. So you say, here we have the map of North Korea and South Korea as we are exploring the Korean War. Please use the map to explain the division of that country to your partner. And they have to touch it and explain it. So in the act of teaching it. And another possibility is that these students could teach using what is called a worked problem. Okay, so let's think about this in terms of math. Maybe I have taught you an algorithm in math. I've demonstrated it, we've done guided practice, and then I give you an item and you write it on your whiteboard, and then you go back and I give you feedback, you correct it. And then I say, ones, you are the teacher. Pretend your partner has been absent, and I want you to explain the steps that we used on solving that problem. Again, in a number of studies, they have found that just adding that, teach it to your partner, increases the retention of the information. Well, let us use this. And so I want you to go back in your handout to slide number 20. And ones, you're going to pretend that your partner was not here today, and they want to use partners in the class. So you have your handout out, and you're going to teach them the information on slide 20. And after you complete that, then twos, you are going to go over slide 21. So you're going to point to the thing that you're talking about. You're going to give them a little explanation. You can even add examples to it. And so ones, teach slide 20 to your partner, and then when I say switch, twos, teach slide 21 to your partner, and begin. So you can go ahead as soon as you're done, if you haven't twos. Okay, thank you very much. Now, do you think it's possible, even as adults, in the act of teaching it to your partner, that you might remember it longer? Yes or no, everyone? Yes, I mean, such a simple thing. And so here we did it, not with the graphic organizer, though we could have, but just with the handout right here, stopping and saying, teach it to your partner. Now, would you have to model that for elementary students? Yes or no? The first time you did it, you'd have to say, watch me. You are my partner and I'm teaching it. So you'd have to show them how to do it, maybe even more than one time. But they'll get it really fast. And do they love teaching? Yes or no, everyone? Yes, all right. So looking back over on our handout, so they could teach information or they could use it with a worked problem. Well, a last use of partners is that you could utilize partners to study information. And I just put here one example of studying. For example, if I was teaching spelling in a class and I'd introduced words, I might have the students every day for a short period of time study with their partner using just a simple routine. And so where I say, take out your word list and your partners, and I say, one, you are the teacher today, the tutor, and so then you read a word to your partner. She writes it on her whiteboard. Then you show her the word. If she's missed it, she crosses it out and fixes it up. You dictate the next word. She writes it down. You show her the word. She crosses it out if she missed it and writes it again. And then the next day, she is the tutor and you are the tutee. So another really good use of partners is teaching information. And there's one that some of our teachers from the upper grades could use that we designed for studying content area classes. They come to social studies in the 4th grade. Maybe they have a graphic organizer and you say, get out your graphic organizer and you are going to have a minute to study what's on that graphic organizer. So you give them a chance to study it, and then you say, turn it over. And the graphic organizer was about 3 types of volcanoes and ones. Tell your partner everything you remember about composite volcanoes. So they tell their partner, and then their partner helps them out. Maybe they ask them questions like, what is it made of? Or they give hints. It's made out of lava, okay. Or they ask for additional information. And so could you have a composite volcano that was inactive? So they could ask for additional ones. And then when they both exhausted everything they know, they could go back and check their understanding with their graphic organizer. So this is another way they study together, but we make it a routine. And we don't do it occasionally. We do it at the beginning of every social studies or science class, if that is a routine that we've chosen to do. So we are looking at the use of partners, and we've already looked at some of the ways we can use partners. So just as a quick reflection, looking at number 1, they could share an answer with their partner in response to a question or a directive. And let's just review that, see how much we remember of that. If I wanted students to, particularly if it was a higher order question to share with their partners, I might first ask the question, and then I'm going to give them, what, everyone? Some thinking time. And then I might even scaffold their answer that they're going to say with their partner with a, what, everyone? A sentence starter, and then I'm going to have them share with their partner. And then I might ask other students to discuss their answer, but I could also scaffold that with what, everyone? Sentence starters. So that's the one that we really wanted to attend to. And many of you found that teaching information to your partner helped your recall, and it certainly would help our students recall. And they could also study with a partner. But there are a few other things that partners could do, many things that partners could do. And would you hop over to slide 30? So one of the ways that I use partners is to help out their partner to be sure that they're on the right page, that they have their name on their paper, that they have the materials out that are needed, that they are all prepared for class. And so the very first additional example up here is using them to monitor their partner. So I make this a habit in elementary school. I'll give a directive, I'll pause, and then I'll say, check your partner. So maybe I say to the first graders, open up your book to page 14. I give them time to do it, and then I say, what, everyone? Check your partner. And I actually end up with all first graders on the right page, which I will tell you is a miracle. Maybe I am teaching in third grade, and I say, please write a heading on your paper. And then I give them time to do it. Then I say, check your partner, and I'll end up with every third grader with a name on their paper. Now we're talking major miracle. So some of those little things make such a difference in the climate in our classroom and our ability to teach. Of course, they could share materials with their partner, and during independent work, if their partner had a question or needed a word read to them, they could assist. And one of them ways I use partners in the elementary school is to support me as a teacher. You know, someone's been absent, they come back and say, can you give me all the things you've handed out and all the work that you've given? And oftentimes that is difficult. So I just have as a routine that if your partner is absent, you're collecting everything, putting it in her desk, collecting all those assignments, all those handouts, so that they could take over some responsibilities for me. So raise your hand if you think you might be using partners in your class. Of course, you don't raise your hand, you get the remedial evening session. So now, one of the ways that I might support students in answering particularly higher order questions is I might give them not just a sentence starter to complete, but a written frame to complete. And so we're going to look at this partner activity or procedures we just looked at, and I'm going to have you reflect on it and fill this in. So reading it with me, everyone. There are, okay, now we're all together. Let's, wait, stop. Now we're together. I didn't cue you very well, so let's try it again, everyone. There are a number of ways that I plan to use partners in my class. First, and so you can go back and reflect on it, and you might say, oh, I am going to use the partners to answer comprehension questions in my core program. But you're just going to think about how you might use them. And then the last line, read that sentence, everyone. One thing that will help make work even better is, okay? So you get to decide that. So everybody working on finishing this writing frame, and then we'll share with our partners. Okay, as I'm walking around, you're wrapping it up. So, ones, I want you to share your writing frame that's now filled in with your partners. Then twos, fill it in. And when you're all done, I want you to ask your partner about the first thing that they put. First, I'm going to use them this way. Just ask them, why would you do that? Why was that important to you? So read it to your partner, and then ask your partner, why might you do that? Okay, wrapping up where you are and looking back here. So, do you think that the students might have a better discussion with their partner if they filled in a writing frame before they had that discussion? Yes or no, everyone? Yes. And so even though it takes a little time for them to write down their ideas, and you wouldn't do it with every question, but particularly those higher order questions that you ask questions leading up to it, this really scaffolds and supports it and increases the quality. Beautiful job.
In this session, Dr. Archer expanded on how to use partners in your classroom. Before viewing Session 6, use the activities at the back of your session handout to review what you learned about partners. The guide also provides tasks for you to implement in your classroom if you will be viewing Session 6 at a later date. Session 6 explores how to effectively use individual responses.